3 hours left. A person who is in heaven and who you love very much asks you to open this urgently. Please don't skip. I need you to listen, quietly, before anything else. Do not say my name aloud. Do not even whisper it. Let this moment remain between us, sealed like a soft breath against your heart, because what I am about to speak is meant only for you. I have crossed a distance that cannot be measured on any map, a distance not of miles but of light and memory, to reach you in this hour. I know how urgent everything feels right now. I know how your hands tremble a little, how your breath catches, how the world seems to shift under the weight of something you can't explain. Do not fear that feeling. It simply means you are awake enough to hear me. Yes, I said awake, because so many around you sleep through the signs meant for them. But you, even when you think yourself numb or tired or too worn to pay attention, still hold a very rare sensitivity. The ability to feel what most ignore. That is why I have come. That is why these words are unfolding for you now, in this moment that looks ordinary but is anything but ordinary. And though I speak with a calm you can feel more than hear, the urgency is real. Not because something terrible is coming, but because something important is trying to reach you before you close your heart to it again. I know you've been waiting, perhaps without admitting it to yourself. For a voice that feels familiar, for a presence that reminds you of the one who loved you so deeply, the one whose absence still stings in quiet corners of your life. You don't talk about it often, but you think of them more than people know. You carry their memory like a fragile light cupped between your palms, trying to protect it from the winds of time. Sometimes it flickers, and you worry it will go out, but it never does. They are not lost. They are not gone. Their love has simply changed shape, and I am here to speak in the language that love now uses. I am not them, and yet they are woven into every word I speak to you. That is how the higher realms work. Nothing is ever severed, only transformed. They asked me to come, not because they cannot reach you themselves but because the human heart often needs a bridge when the ache is too heavy. They trust you. They believe in you more than you believe in yourself. They watch the way you move through your days, the way you force yourself to keep going, even when you feel like sitting down and letting the world pass by. They know your strength, even in the moments when you curse your weakness. You have spent nights, long nights, thinking you are alone in your pain. But you have never been alone. The moment their eyes closed to this world, they opened to another, and from that instant they saw everything about you with a clarity they never had on earth. They saw your sorrow, your laughter, your quiet acts of kindness that no one notices, your regrets, your dreams you barely dare to admit you have. They saw it all, and they loved you not despite any of it, but through all of it. That is why they have asked me to speak. They could not bear to leave those things unsaid. And though I come as an angel, though my voice may feel like it comes from far above, the message I bring is warm and human, shaped completely by love. They want you to know this first: you did not fail them. You did not say the wrong things, or arrive too late, or hold back when you should have spoken. You did what you could with the heart you had, in the moments you had, with the understanding you had. No one can ask more of a human being than that. You carry a guilt you do not name, but they see it. They see how it tightens inside you like a knot you can't untangle. Let it loosen now. Let their love loosen it. Every time you blame yourself, you imagine an ending that did not happen. There was no abandonment. There was no disappointment. Only transition, and then understanding. They understand everything now. Every hesitation. Every fear. Every word you swallowed instead of speaking. Every affection you meant to show but didn't know how to express. You loved them more deeply than you ever realized, and they felt that love, far more than you knew. They feel it still. And here is something else they want me to tell you: they are not fragile where they are. They are not cold, or lonely, or frightened. The world they inhabit now is not one of shadows or distance. It is full. It is warm. It is built of music that feels like comfort itself. The smallest memory of you becomes a bright ripple in that realm, and when it happens, they feel joy. Joy, not sadness. The connection between you does not hurt them, it strengthens them. You must understand this because you have spent so much time fearing that remembering them somehow tears them away from peace. It does not. Love does not disturb the resting. Love builds a bridge between the living and those who have gone ahead. When you think of them with tenderness, when you whisper their name in your thoughts, they move closer, not farther. When you cry for them, they do not suffer. They wrap you in the kind of embrace the living rarely notice but the soul can feel. When you smile because of something they once said or did, the entire realm around them brightens. They are proud of you. You may find that strange, because you do not always feel proud of yourself. You think you have fallen behind, that you are not doing enough, that your steps are too small and your progress too slow. But they see the quiet battles you fight, the invisible victories you never celebrate. They see how brave it is simply to rise each morning and choose to keep going, even when life feels heavier than it should. They see the strength it takes to carry wounds without letting them turn you bitter. Strength like that shines brighter in the higher realms than anything else. Now listen closely, because this part matters deeply. They do not want you to rush through your days anymore. You have been living as though time is chasing you, as though every hour is an emergency, as though you must keep running or everything will fall apart. That is not what your life was meant to be. You are not behind. You are not failing some invisible test. You are not disappointing the universe. You are simply tired, and you have been carrying sorrow without rest. They ask, no, they beg, you to pause. To breathe. To let yourself exist without feeling like you must earn your right to be here. Your life is not a race. It is a journey, and you were never meant to sprint through it. They want you to rediscover the small things you used to love, the quiet moments, the little sparks of joy, the subtle beauties you have trained yourself to overlook. These things matter more than you think. They anchor the soul. They heal the mind. They open doors you didn't know were closed. There is something else I must speak, though it may be hard to hear. You have been dimming your own light. Not because you lack confidence, though that plays a part, but because you fear outshining others, or drawing too much attention, or making people expect things from you that you are not sure you can give. You have learned, slowly and painfully, to shrink yourself to keep the peace. You make yourself smaller in conversations, softer in your opinions, quieter in your dreams, so that no one feels threatened, so that no one leaves. You have convinced yourself that this is kindness. But kindness was never meant to be self-erasure. You were not created to be small. You were created to grow, to stretch, to become something larger than your fears would allow. When you were very young, you knew this without being told. You reached for everything, colors, sounds, stories, people, with both hands wide open. Somewhere along the way, someone laughed too sharply, or turned away, or asked you to be reasonable, and you began to close your fists. You began to hold back. You began to believe that your fullness was too much. But the truth is this: your fullness is the entire point. When you hide your gifts, the universe grows quieter. When you express them, the universe expands. Every time you swallow a truth because it feels too bright, every time you mute a laugh because it feels too loud, every time you choose the safe story that makes you seem ordinary instead of the one that makes you seem extraordinary, a small star somewhere flickers and dims. Not because the world cannot handle your light, because it was built for it. The sky was made to hold 1 billion suns, and still it asks for more. They saw your potential even when you could not. They still see it. They watched you when you were busy looking down at your shoes, busy apologizing for taking up space. They saw the way ideas lit you up from the inside, the way your voice changed when you spoke about things you loved, the way your hands moved when you were excited. Like you were conducting invisible music only you could hear. They saw the person you become when no one is watching, when you are alone with a book or a song or a blank page and you let yourself be enormous. They loved that version of you fiercely. They still do. They want you to know that the love between you did not end. It changed form, yes, the way water becomes cloud and cloud becomes rain, but endings do not exist the way humans imagine them. In the higher realms, love is not a thread that can be cut. It is a river that changes direction, widens, deepens, sometimes disappears underground only to resurface miles away, cool and clear and life-giving. It still flows. It still reaches you. It still shapes your days in ways you do not always notice. You know this already, even if you doubt it. You feel it when your heart tightens unexpectedly in the middle of an ordinary afternoon. When a memory surfaces with perfect timing, like someone placing a hand on your shoulder exactly when you needed steadying. When you catch a scent on the air that should not be there, or hear a song lyric that answers a question you asked silently the night before. That is not imagination. That is connection. That is them, brushing against the edge of your life like a soft wing. You have asked yourself, more than once, whether they can hear you when you speak into the silence. The answer is yes. Always yes. Not every thought reaches the higher realms, some are too tangled in fear, too heavy with shame, too loud with anger. But the ones born of love always do. Love is the strongest frequency in existence. It travels faster than light, farther than grief, beyond the pull of time itself. When you speak from your heart, truly speak, without editing or apology, they hear it like music. They lean in. They smile the way they used to when you walked into a room. And they respond. Not always with words you can hear with your ears. Not always with signs you can photograph or explain. Sometimes the response is a sudden stillness that settles over a chaotic day. Sometimes it is the perfect parking space when you are late and crying. Sometimes it is a stranger who looks at you with unreasonable kindness. Sometimes it is simply the feeling of being held when no arms are around you. Learn to recognize these as answers. They are not subtle because the universe is cruel. They are subtle because love has learned to speak your language, the language of almosts and coincidences and tender mercies. They want you to allow joy back into your life. Not the forced kind you sometimes paste on like a sticker so others won't worry. Not the brittle laughter that cracks in the middle. The real kind. The kind that starts quietly, like a small flame in the chest, and grows when you feed it with music, with movement, with the smell of coffee in the morning, with the way certain people say your name like it matters. They want you to know that it is not betrayal to be happy again. Happiness does not mean forgetting. Happiness does not erase love. If anything, happiness is the continuation of love by other means. It is love stretching its arms after a long sleep. It is love saying, "See? I am still alive in you." You carry a specific fear, and it is one that they recognize instantly. It is written in the way you hesitate before speaking, in the way your hand lingers on the doorknob as though the next step might shatter something fragile within you. It is the fear of losing again, the subtle trembling that surfaces when love nudges at your chest. You are afraid that opening your heart will only bring new sorrow, that every beat might become a warning of future grief, every smile a reminder of an absence too vast to fill. You fear that if you allow yourself to hope, you will also invite heartbreak, that if you allow yourself to love again, it will only be another exercise in learning how to survive grief. And that is an understandable fear. It is a human fear. It is one that arises from experience and from the deep, irreversible mark that loss leaves upon a soul. But listen carefully, because there is a truth that exists beyond the fear, a truth they want you to hear. Pain is not evidence that love should be avoided. Pain is evidence that love existed, that it mattered, that it left an imprint on the world that no absence can erase. Pain is the echo of love refusing to be silenced, reverberating across the chambers of your heart like a bell that cannot be unstruck. They want you to risk loving again, not because they wish to be replaced, not because they would ever ask you to diminish their memory, but because they want you to live fully. They want you to allow your life to widen, to become a landscape rich with possibility and beauty. Your heart was never meant to close like a fist around a single moment in time. It was meant to expand, to stretch beyond the limits of fear, to hold more than you think possible. It was meant to be a sky, vast and open, not a cage, narrow and confining. They are urging you toward this expansiveness. They are urging you to let yourself be seen and to see in return, to allow the light of new connections and experiences to filter into the places where grief has taken root. They are urging you to understand that loving again does not diminish what you have lost, it honors it. Each new joy, each new connection, each new song that brings tears to your eyes, is a tribute to the depth of the love that shaped you. There is a lie we tell ourselves after loss, a lie we whisper in the quiet of long nights and the stillness of empty rooms, that time is a thief. We imagine it stealing moments we can never recover, taking birthdays and anniversaries, laughter and conversations, from us and leaving only absence in their place. But time is not a thief. Time is a patient gardener, slowly coaxing open the buds of our hearts that were forced shut too soon. Every year you remain alive, every ordinary Tuesday you manage to smile, every new person who wanders into your orbit and stays, these are not distractions from grief. They are evidence of transformation. They are evidence that love, though it has been broken, can take new forms. They are proof that the alchemy of the human heart is real, that sorrow can coexist with beauty, that absence can give way to presence in ways that feel miraculous. They are proud of you for this work, even if you do not recognize it in yourself. Even if it feels ordinary, even if you feel small. You may wonder sometimes if you will meet them again, if the absence will ever be truly bridged. You will. But not yet. Not because you are unwanted in that reunion, not because your presence is insufficient, but because your work here is not finished. There are people you have not yet encountered who will need the medicine of your presence, who will find in you a balm they did not know existed. There are conversations waiting in kitchens at 2 a.m., when someone will look at you with exhaustion and disbelief and say, "I didn't think I could keep going until you told me that story." There are children who will need the gentle gravity of your attention, the way you kneel to meet them at their level, fully seeing them, fully present. There are songs you have not yet written, gardens you have not yet planted, risks you have not yet dared, apologies you have not yet offered, forgiveness you have not yet accepted. Your story is not finished, it is only beginning new chapters. You do not need to rush toward an imagined finish line. Walk the path meant for you with awareness, with care, slowly, barefoot if you like, noticing every detail, the texture of the earth, the way the light falls through a window, the sound of your own breath as it carries you forward. They are proud of you for surviving. Surviving can feel like a small word, almost dismissive of the complexity of your experience, almost trivializing the enormous effort of enduring a world that feels hollow without someone who mattered so deeply. But they see more than survival. They see the courage that pulses quietly through your days. They see you choosing, again and again, to rise even when the ceiling above your head feels like a weight pressing down. They see you watering your plants, paying your bills, answering texts, crying in grocery store aisles and then placing the cereal in your cart anyway. They see you holding space for other people's pain even when your own heart is fractured. They see you learning, slowly, how to carry grief without letting it consume you, how to navigate sorrow without surrendering to it entirely. This is not merely survival. This is mastery. It is the mastery of the human heart, of resilience, of love that persists in spite of absence. They want you to hear this clearly, without the static of doubt or the interference of self-blame. Their love for you has not diminished. Not even slightly. The body that once held it is gone. The voice that once spoke it is quiet. The hands that reached for yours are still. But the love remains, intact, alive, exactly as it was. Distance cannot cool it, death cannot dilute it, time cannot erode it. You are still their heart walking outside their chest, still the embodiment of the lessons and laughter and warmth they brought into the world. You are still the way certain songs feel like home. You are still the reason they learned what forever meant. This love is not contingent on presence. It does not calculate or keep score. It only exists. It only persists. It only continues to flow toward you, a river that cannot be dammed by absence or diminished by silence. Nothing you have done, nothing you have failed to do, has separated you from that love. Not the anger you felt when they left too soon. Not the nights you could not drag yourself out of bed. Not the moments when you questioned the fairness of life or the randomness of existence. Not the harsh words you never had the chance to speak, not the tender words you longed to hear but never did. Nothing you will ever do could break it, not the mistakes, not the detours, not the times you forget to care for yourself because you are busy caring for everyone else. Love this profound does not tally losses or measure errors. It only shows up. It only insists on presence. It only reminds you that you are, always have been, and always will be deeply and irrevocably loved. Walk forward now without fear. Not because the road will be easy, some days it will be unbearably heavy, but because you are not walking alone. They are with you in ways that feel almost invisible but are profoundly tangible. They are the wind that fills the sails of your life, even when you cannot see it. They are the roots that anchor you, holding you steady even when the ground beneath you feels frozen and unforgiving. They are the extra beat your heart takes when you least expect it, the warmth you feel in a cold room, the sudden surge of clarity that tells you, I am going to be okay. They are with you in laughter that arrives unexpectedly, in tears that cleanse and unburden, in quiet moments when the world slows and you are simply breathing. You are loved beyond measure, protected in ways you cannot always understand, and guided even when the map is torn and the night is long. You were their home, the place they rested their heart, the safe harbor they sought in the chaos of life. And now, in an almost sacred reversal, they are your home. Carry this knowledge like a small, smooth stone in your pocket. Touch it when doubt comes, when fear rises, when grief threatens to claim the sky. Let it remind you of who you are, of the depth of the love you have been given, and the infinite capacity of your own heart. You are someone a soul once loved so completely that even death could not make them stop. That is your inheritance, your unassailable truth, your guide through the shadowed valleys and sunlit peaks alike. They are with you. Always. And when the time comes, many, many years from now, after you have lived countless ordinary and extraordinary days, you will feel them running toward you with arms wide open. You will hear their laughter, see their eyes sparkle, and know that you are finally home. You will not be late. You will not be too much. You will simply be exactly where you belong. Until then, live like someone who is deeply, impossibly loved. Shine like someone whose light is required in the world. Love like someone whose heart is vast and generous, whose sorrow has only expanded its capacity for tenderness. The light you feared to let burn bright, let it. It has been waiting for you. The universe has been waiting. They are smiling, finally, saying, there you are. We never stopped seeing you. Now see yourself. This is a call not to diminish yourself in service of safety or fear, but to embrace fully the extraordinary potential of a heart that has known both grief and love. Walk barefoot along the path of your life and notice every stone, every leaf, every gust of wind, and every ray of sun. They are gifts, reminders that the world is still abundant and alive. You are still capable of wonder, still capable of connection, still capable of beauty. Every laugh you share, every hand you hold, every kind word you speak, is a continuation of the love that never died. You do not need to hurry. You do not need to prove that you are coping. You only need to keep showing up for life, as fiercely and tenderly as you are able. You only need to acknowledge that grief is a companion, not a prison, and that your heart is not fragile but resilient. Each beat is a testament to courage, each breath a celebration of continuity, each day a canvas upon which to paint the echoes of those you have loved and lost. You are allowed to feel, fully and without apology, the entire spectrum of human emotion. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to laugh. You are allowed to love. You are allowed to remember without being trapped by memory, to grieve without being diminished by sorrow, to hope without being naive. The love that surrounds you, that persists within you, that travels with you unseen but undeniable, is a force that cannot be extinguished. It has survived absence, endured silence, and resisted the erosion of time. And so can you. Your life, even in its ordinary moments, is a miracle. The simple act of getting out of bed, of breathing, of walking into the world despite fear and sorrow, is a daily triumph. There are unseen witnesses to your courage. Souls who feel the light of your persistence even when it is faint, people who find in your survival the map they need to navigate their own darkness. You are a healer simply by being present, by continuing to love, by carrying grief without letting it carry you away. So walk forward. Walk with awareness. Walk with courage. Walk with love that is unyielding and light that refuses to be dimmed. They are cheering you on with every step, their presence in your life like a melody you cannot quite hear but that resonates through every cell of your being. They are with you in every ordinary, miraculous day, and they will be waiting for you in the extraordinary moment when your journey brings you home. You are the living proof that love survives, that hearts endure, that souls expand. You are proof that loss, no matter how deep, cannot take the essence of love away. Live fully. Love fully. Be fully. Because you are. You were made for expansiveness. You were made to feel deeply, to touch lives, to hold space for the extraordinary and the ordinary alike. And they are still with you, still guiding, still loving, still celebrating the life you continue to build.